Do you want to go Oonga Boonga and just kill your target super quick at level 6 in Baldur's Gate 3? Should go without saying that Half Orc is the best race for this build because you gain additional weapon damage dice when you crit. Alright guys, this build is going to be very easy to understand. You go levels 1 to 6 inside fighter because you just get some amazing stuff. So the reason I'm not showcasing this as a barbarian is because the barbarian crit build doesn't really pop off until you get extra crit damage as the barbarian at level 9. So if you don't want to see that version of the build, comment down below and I'll make one for you. Now for the fighter, our fighting style, great weapon fighting is good, but also bad at the same time. If you don't roll a 1 or a 2 for your damage die, this is completely wasted. But when you do roll those numbers, this is really good, so keep that in mind. Alternatively, if you want extra AC, go with defense. My starting stats are on screen now. The reason I like my stats the way they are is because you have the ability to mix and match what you want. If you don't care about intelligence or wisdom, simply drop these and put it into something else. You could do like that, get your constitution to 14, and then still get wisdom to 10. And with gear that we'll talk about in a little bit, we're going to have Constitution 16, we'll have Strength 20, Great Weapon Master, and everything else in between, setting you up at level 6 to completely decimate Honor Mode. Your skill proficiencies here, pick whatever you wish, it's going to be realistically up to you. The one thing of note, in order to maximize your crit damage, you will go Champion. If you don't want as much crit, simply go Battle Master. Our first feat is going to be Heavy Armor Master. The reason for this is this will get our strength to 18, which is fantastic, giving you another +4 modifier. You have all physical damage that's non-magical reduced by 3 when wearing heavy armor. And with our potion that you get at level 6, assuming you go to Moonrise Towers, you can get to 20 strength. And to showcase it, I did actually just level up to level 7 with my squad, but with the Potion of Everlasting Vigor, I use it. And guess what? We're sitting at 20 strength. And because fighters get an extra feat at level 6, our next feat is going to be Great Weapon Master. That way we can have even more damage. Alright guys, for gear, there are some specific pieces we're going to talk about here. So let's go ahead and blow through everything now. Starting out with the Unseen Menace. This is the only two-handed weapon in the game that's going to give you increased crit chance. Well, because we already went Champion, we roll a crit on 19 or 20. This gives you the option to roll it as an 18. It says you score a crit when rolling 19. This will stack with Champion, giving you an 18, 19, or 20 dice roll will be a crit. If you did go Half Orc like I recommended, anytime you do crit, you roll an additional D of whatever weapon dice it is for damage. Because this is a pike, it would roll an additional D10 for your damage. The only bad side to this is if you do miss an attack for 2 rounds, you will no longer have the invisible weapon enchant, so do keep that in mind. Taking a look at our necklace here, you have 2 options early on, Amulet of Misty Step or the Wound Closure. Misty Step is if you just want an ability to go around the battlefield a little easier, while this is going to be more defensive. As a Half Orc, you already, instead of being downed, would be at 1 HP. This is great because you automatically stabilize, but whenever you heal, you restore a maximum number of possible hit points. This will affect things like potions, and this will also affect Second Wind, which is really powerful. So if you want to be a little bit more defensive, use Wound Closure. Our rings, Caustic Band, obviously we want as much damage as possible because we want to crit and get all that extra damage, so the Caustic Band, extra acid is the way to go. And we have the Strange Conduit Ring. While you concentrate on a spell, your attacks deal additional 1d4 psychic. Because we are fighter, we have proficiency in Constitution saving throws, which is nice. But I know what you're thinking. You don't have any spells, right? We actually do. If you decide to use the Darkfire Shortbow, you can cast Haste on yourself, which is, as we know, a concentration spell. So this bow in combination with this ring, automatic haste, and 1d4 psychic. Or if you would rather use the Bow of Awareness that you can buy from Row of Moonglow in Act 1, you get more initiative, but then you can use the Grimskull Helm, use Hunter's Mark, which is also a concentration spell, allowing you to do even more damage, and also have the 1d4 psychic. Our cape here is of course the Cloak of Protection. It's one of the few early cloaks you can gain. If you don't want to use the Grimskull helm, my option is going to be using the haste helm for the extra movement. I actually went with the Dwarven Splint Mail here. You can actually buy this from the vendors inside Moonrise Towers, assuming you unlock the secret dialogue to gain extra stuff. One less piercing damage, not that big of a deal, but does stack with the heavy armor master feat we talked about earlier to reduce all physical damage by 3. The reason we want this though is because of the AC. 19 base AC isn't bad, but you also gain 2 constitution, giving us 16 in total. Glove wise, I went with Flawed Hell Dust for the additional fire damage because we're trying to get as much damage as possible. So when you crit, that fire damage is also going to be doubled. And my boots, I just went with Nightwalkers because they are some of the best boots in the game early on. Additional Misty Step, can't be Wind Webbed, Entangled, Ensnared, and can't slip on grease or ice, making you truly a one-shot, like just never stop attacking, kill your target machine kind of build. And that's pretty much it for gear, so let's go ahead and take a look at Combat Showcase. But before we do that, do keep in mind, you can buff this weapon even more with the Drakethroat Glaive. If you have a Sorcerer, you can twin cast this on 2 different weapons at once. Of course, if you're by yourself, simply equip it, pop whatever damage type you want. Let's go with Acid here. So now this is going to be buffed even more. So now if I go to use this, you will see I will do 1 D4 acid, 1 D4 fire. It has 1d10 plus 7 now, and it will do another 2 acid from my ring as well, and of course concentrating 1d4 psychic. All right, let's take a look at this in combat. All right, for this combat showcase, when I go to open up on the target, the question is, do I want to use haste or do I want to use something else? Do I want to use my Hunter's Mark or do I want to put haste to myself instead? It's going to be up to you and how you go about doing this. To showcase the differences though, let's go ahead and open up with Hunter's Mark instead because I do like Hunter's Mark a lot for the extra damage. We're going to proc it on this target in front of us. Now what's important to know here, because I did put Hunter's Mark on him now, you can see I will do additional 1d6 when I do my weapon attacks. Because that's a concentration, I also get my ring, right? Now I could also use Brace if I want. This is another way to kind of like reroll dice if needed, but you already have advantage while having Unseen Weapon. So as long as your weapon has the Unseen effect, you don't really need it. You can see with advantage, my chance to hit is only 75%, and that's because of my passive Great Weapon Master giving me a -5 penalty, but when I do attack, I do extra damage. Let's go ahead and attack him anyway, because I feel like it's going to be the best route. And you can see with that crit here, we did 42 piercing, and you can see from Savage Attacks, the Orc buff I talked about, or like racial, you get the extra piercing damage, or like the extra weapon damage in general. 7 acid, 3 fire, and 6 psychic. So we just blew that guy up big time. We just crit that guy as well. 38 piercing, 6 acid, 5 fire, 3 psychic. And the only reason he survived is because he had a debuff on himself that, or a buff that allows him to survive at 1 HP. So now I missed. So I'm glad I missed because I wanted to showcase the importance of knowing when and when not to have Great Weapon Master. Because I missed here, you can see my weapon is now visible. It no longer has the unseen buff. So what I should have done is actually toggle Great Weapon Master off so I could attack him and still have my buff. Either way, I still missed, and you can see how much of a difference not having the advantage really gives. Wow, I missed again. All right, now there's one thing I do want to showcase here. Now, even though I have all 3 of these ghouls next to me, do I want to reapply Hunter's Mark or not? If I do, I'm not going to be able to use my bonus action for the Great Weapon Master attack, but I do gain the piercing damage when needed. So it's going to be up to you on how and when you want to use this. Let's not apply it and instead simply attack. I'll turn Great Weapon Master on as well because we're going to use Brace. Great way to just get extra damage die. So I use Brace, allowing me to roll my damage die twice to essentially help negate the negative aspect of not having the weapon buff here. And I do have my Great Weapon Master all in. So let's go ahead and attack. I missed. Okay, so he's dead, and that's what I wanted to showcase. Even though I didn't have Hunter's Mark on any of these targets, because I had it previously, I'm still concentrating. You can see it down here. So I still gained the benefit of my ring regardless. And now I can use my bonus action attack to attack this target instead. He's dead, and we have one left all the way up here that we can just kill now. And that's the build, guys. I hope I explained it well. If you have any questions, comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next. I do have plenty of more builds coming, but I did have quite a few comments stating most of my builds seem to be endgame, so I did want to make something fun for early game. And of course, if you do want to see the endgame version of my crit build now, comment down below because I do have an update for some really fun endgame stuff. I'm Ronan. Thank you so much for watching. To all my members, I really appreciate you guys. If you want early access to build videos like this, hit join down below. You'll also gain some additional perks like shoutouts in my videos and some things from my live stream as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time.